Here we go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Food Truck Podcast. I am your host, Ty Carroll. This is my awesome husband, Angela.
Hello, everybody.
So today we want to get right into some obstacles that make it difficult to operate a food truck. So before you start answering that question, maybe you should just give a little intro on our food truck story.
It's quite a story, everyone. I guess basically when you're immersed in some kind of business, the first thing you want to do is get together on a microphone and talk about it. Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah.
With a bunch of equipment, we're trying to figure out how to operate. But so our story, quite intimate. It's pretty neat. Takes you down a lot of bumpy roads. But we basically,
Literally.
yeah, we started off on our back deck with a pizza oven during COVID, and we sold. My wife decided to just put an ad on Instagram and let's see what we could do. And we sold 160 pizzas off the back deck. People were coming around the side of the house, sitting in the living room. It was a crazy house. So we did it again the following week, same result. You knew you couldn't really keep it up because you can't just have people walking all over your yard. Board of Health will come and everything. So we decided to take a trailer. Actually, I didn't decide it. She decided to put our pizza oven in a little 5x8 trailer that I had on the side of the house. And I kept saying it's not going to work.
You have to have a vision.
Yes. So after a while, I go out there and I'm measuring it. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe this will fit in here. So the idea was to go to a farmer's market first and, let's see what we could do. So we did a local farmer's market, and I recommend that to anybody with a food truck to start cutting your teeth. And we basically turned a Tuesday farmer's market into like 120 pies on a Tuesday.
Well, can you let them know what that revenue looks like?
120 pies, what, $14 a pizza?
Yeah.
Cost us about $3 and change to make it.
Yeah.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Especially your sweat.
But
my tears.
Yeah. I think we're making ourselves like $1,000.
Yes, we were.
Just to go to a farmer's market, which was good. It was a good start. We were like got hit as soon as we opened up, and a lot of times we were there after the farmers. While they were closing up, we still had a line of people, so it worked out really well. Now I come from the restaurant business. I've owned the restaurant for 12 years, owner, operator, chef. So this business was much different. It's like taking it on the road, which we did do, and we did it well. And the growth was tremendous because from the farmers market, we got a bunch of parties, private parties, and all kinds of goodwill came our way. Can you come here? Can you go there? Can you do this event in the town? Can you do this on the weekend? So not only did we book up our Tuesdays, we booked up all of our weekends and just about everything in between.
Yeah. We had no idea that was going to happen to us.
No. And I will tell you this, we had a trailer that we had to load and unload. It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was hard work.
And we had an 8-month-old and a 1-year-old.
Yeah. And 2 babies. Our family was anybody with a pair of hands was helping us at one point, right? And we used to drag that trailer back and forth and every week and just take it all over the place. By the end of July, we had purchased a wood-fired pizza truck, which my wife said was too big. Well, we'll get into that another day.
There's a video on our Instagram
That's right.
page with
the 2 trips we took to buy one truck.
Yeah.
And I guess it did seem too big because we came from a 5x8 trailer. So Long story short, the type of growth we had is by the end of our season that year, our truck was paid off in full, and we had enough money, luckily, to buy a new roof for our house because our roof decided to leak
Yeah.
right afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, in a restaurant business, brick and mortar, very
So
tough to see that kind of growth.
I love that you bring that up because I wanted to ask you, at the end of the day, is it beneficial to have a food truck? Like,
Rather than a brick and mortar,
absolutely. And
um,
why? So what's the
in my experience, now I can't speak for everybody with a brick and mortar, but yeah, much better. The growth was incredible in a short amount of time. There's no, $3,000 gas bill coming
right,
in.
right. So my question would be, what are the benefits before we even get into the obstacles that make it difficult to operate a food truck? Before we get into the obstacles, can you give me the benefits?
Yes, yeah, I can tell you this too, right off the bat. I love the food truck industry because one of the driving points with my restaurant is everybody has something in their home that they do the best, whether it's cookies, cakes. They may make something, whatever it happens to be. They have a special family recipe that um, is theirs, and they cherish it. So when I had my restaurant, one of the things I used to do was say, "Bring me your family recipe, and I'll make it for your family." Whether it be an appetizer, this or that. People loved it because it was very interactive with the customers. And I would have them come in before we served it on a Saturday, come in on a Thursday, try it, make sure this is, what your recipe is supposed to be. And they would say, yeah. And they would come in, and there actually would be their family recipe listed on the menu. And we would actually make their stuff. And that was a neat thing. But I think the food truck business allows anybody that has something like that to get out and do their own thing. Some people start in tents. We had a tent, blew away. That's another story, but we did have a tent.
We started pretty rough. We had it rough.
We had a hurricane. It's just what it is. We were in the middle of a hurricane. She said, "Stop making pizza." I said, "No,
I said no.
they're bluffing." I saw this like grayish silver cloud looming, but I just didn't think it was going to bear anything. And then we got caught in the middle of a hurricane, so that prompted us to get an indoor truck because we watched how some of the people with indoor trucks reacted.
That
They just
helped me.
closed their window and ducked. Meanwhile, we were in the middle of a storm. I was hit by kettle corn.
We have friends with the kettle corn that they were everywhere. Even our farmers.
Assaulted by a table. It was terrible. And then our tent
pretty funny.
Our tent blew away, and that was the end of us for the day.
All right, the funniest part about that story is that Dennis, the guy, I'm saying his name, he was still helping you pack up the pizzas. He wanted his pizzas.
His pizzas were in the oven in the middle of a hurricane, and he waited. And I said,
pack them up, and he said thank you. He still paid. Everything was soaked in
still paid. And I told him, I said, come back next week when we're not having a hurricane, and I'll make your pizza. No, not necessary.
He's like, I'll be back next week for more pizza, but I want the one.
That's a loyal customer. Yeah. I have to give you that.
I know him by name.
So
So what other you went into that was an obstacle. That was a big Mother Nature obstacle about having, depending what kind of food truck you have.
I think that went down to Tennessee with a tornado.
Yeah, thank God we're not.
Yeah.
I like Tennessee.
No escaping that.
Mm-mm.
No. Obstacles.
I would have been following the yellow brick road, right?
Right.
Okay. More benefits. Give me more benefits before we get into obstacles. I know you said something about the brick and mortar. How many thousands of dollars go into leasing a building, fixing a building, making it yours, only to come to the realization that it's really not yours. And when you walk out of there, it's the landlord's. All that money you put in.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of dollars out the window.
Yeah.
And you do these things because you need to do them. You have to keep the appearance of the place up. My place, problems with the air conditioning, problem with this, problem with that. Fix, 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 fix. Pay, 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 pay. I think
So go ahead.
almost $750,000 passed through my hands in 1 year, and I can't tell you where any of it went
Wow.
at the end of the year.
Wow.
So that, overhead's tough.
Right. So when you say that much money goes into a place, we put money into our trucks.
Lots of it.
Not that much.
No.
But we can sell it.
That's a big benefit.
And whatever we put in the truck is ours to go with us wherever we want to go. Right? And then you can resell.
Right. I think that's a huge benefit. As long as you stick to your price, and I think when you build, like we built our first trailer. We built the food truck that we're in now. A lot of money. Just the cost of metal, running gas lines, running electricity. The costs are staggering. And the food trucks do fetch money. Because the idea of having it all done is much easier. I wish mine was all done. I wish that the next one we build, I want someone else to build it. I really don't want to anymore. It's very taxing. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of ingenuity. You're constantly figuring things out and trying to make them better.
Yeah.
And it gets costly. It gets very costly. So you should know that I don't choose to scare anybody out of the business, but just know that it's going to cost you if you build one. It'll be yours and it'll be the right way. And sometimes it's better just to buy one.
Okay, so that's the benefit. Just go and buy one that's already made for you.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I've got, I've done plumbing, I've done electricity, I've done welding. I fix a lot of things all the time. I like fixing things. So it's probably a lot easier for me, and it was still hard. If you don't have any handyman skills or handywoman skills, I would suggest you go buy one, or get a reputable person to build it for you. There are people that will work with you. You have to find out who they are, and a lot of times you get it from recommendations from other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get some of those people to come on and talk to us about their business on how they build the trucks, because even though you don't have a business that builds trucks, you do build trucks, and you know what it takes to start one from the wheels up, inside out. I'm talking about everything.
Yeah.
Right. And that's pretty amazing. You can do that. I know you don't want to be promoted like that, but I'm just saying, you can do that.
Well,
so being that you like talking a lot about the disadvantages, I've been trying to wheel you into the advantages of having a food truck. These are kind of fun to talk about, because this one here,
workspace.
Yeah, limited workspace. That gets us a lot.
If you have restaurant experience and you have a kitchen, your kitchen's always too small for the restaurant. You always try to keep the dining space bigger and the kitchen smaller. So this one's a piece of cake. It's your workspace, your storage. Some towns are a lot tougher than other ones. Some people just have a vendetta against food trucks. I don't know why, but it's like,
and now more lately, right?
It's supposedly going to get tougher. There's a lot more people now that are getting into the food truck business, and they're saying that they're going to make the regulations tougher and this and that, which I don't doubt, because that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But I still have to say, if you want to talk about some of the pros, one of the best pros I could say about the whole business is the people that we work with all the time.
I love how you go into pearls when I ask you about the disadvantages, and when I was asking you about the disadvantages, you went into
That's how I
the
work.
pearl. Thanks.
You're not going to
Now
pin
I'm
me into a corner.
tongue-tied. Yeah, they become a family.
They do. And some of the most decent people you ever met.
Hardest working people I've ever met.
And
And we take care of each other.
we do. We do.
It's one thing we try to do all the time is like feed everybody before whatever
Right.
and wherever we are at. If they say this starts at 5 o'clock, we're there super early, and we try to feed as many vendors as we can. Sometimes we can't come out of the truck, and they come to us and they're like, "We want to eat before we start working." And we're like, "Oh, good, here you go." And
Yeah, and they always gift us stuff too.
oh
you
yeah,
know,
I
they-
come home with loaded with
loads, all kinds of fun stuff.
yeah,
And it's great. It's a good experience. They're good to our children.
hmm
Just good people to be around. If I was going to be in a situation, I'd like to be with them. They're our extended family. And we're going to have some of them on here. We can't wait.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun because this is an interactive program. We want to talk to you. We want to tell you what we know and what we've learned, and we want to hear about you too.
Yeah, send us your questions.
Yeah,
Send
for
us
sure.
In the chat, send us questions, comments, concerns. We would love to answer as many questions as we possibly can.
Right. Now, one of the things, I guess, as another topic is what you should do when you start a food truck, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I wanna answer
You
that
want-
one really
go ahead.
quickly, and it's really quick. Don't cut corners.
That's a bingo. I would also say brand yourself very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that when somebody looks at your food truck, they're not looking at,
Guessing game.
yeah,
Like, what are they selling? What's in there? How many
Right.
times that happened to us, right?
right. Because people, they don't like to take risks. Now, we happen to be in the, I guess, the David Portnoy part of the pizza where everybody's a critic now, which is great.
Yeah.
They're over there like talking about the flop and the this and that. Meanwhile, great.
We've had a couple of characters come to us, right?
Yeah.
I'm a pizza guy or whatever, and
Right. Which
I
is
taste
fun.
pizza, and we love it. We're just
Yeah,
like,
please.
yeah, go ahead.
By all means. I mean, but we're lucky because pizza is a go-to food. It's a popular food.
Oh, tell them what you tell me all the time about pizza.
Which
With
one?
the pizza is
Recession proof.
yes.
Now, I was told this when I was a young man making pizza when it was 55 cents a slice. One of my mentors in the
darling,
business,
I think you aged yourself.
Yeah, told me pizza is a recession-proof business, which so far been holding out.
Yeah.
It's just when people have less money, they go to sure things, or what they'll do is they'll pare down. Instead of going out to eat, they'll get a pizza. So I would say it still holds true.
Yeah.
As long as you can get the supplies to make it, you're in great shape.
Absolutely.
Not saying that other food isn't recession proof. I don't know it as well. Comfort food's big, mac and cheese, grilled cheese,
Pasta and cheese is what we do.
burgers are good. But I mean, everybody's got their own character and their own product. All I say is just make sure that it's very clear what someone's going to get when they come to your truck.
Yes.
This and make sure you can serve it fast, because speed is everything. We can get you pizza, and by the time you're done saying it, almost, right?
Yeah, and in the beginning it wasn't like that. So
Right.
I want them to understand something. When we came out with the 5x8 trailer,
Right.
gosh, I loved that trailer, but we were doing some crazy things that were going against us.
Yeah.
So our menu was extensive.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean, we
learning curve.
had really good pizza. I mean, he cooks. I mean, I know when we get to heaven, you're gonna be my chef.
There might be some better people up there.
I don't want anybody else. I know we're gonna have pizza. And you're gonna cook for me. Forget pizza. He can cook other things. We're not gonna get into that, but
Right.
you're my favorite chef.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for serving me.
Well, it's been a pleasure of mine.
You're sweet.
So,
So 5 by 8. So we had a really long menu.
just
And
taking everything out of the trailer to get ready, brutal.
I almost lost a
Putting
finger.
it all back
Thank
in
God,
there. Yeah.
Thank goodness I had longer nails, and I stuck
Yeah.
my guns that day. I was like, don't cut my nails down. Ooh.
Could have been bad.
The whole nail came off. Not my real nail, just the other stuff.
So,
But that was working against us because we were taking too long.
yeah, and then we were making homemade basil lemonade, which was nice. It was good.
That wasn't the only thing though. So we had about 8 different pies.
8 different pies, Zeppelis, calzones.
Yes, garlic knots.
Garlic knots.
The drinks.
Yeah, the drinks.
The coolers, the homemade lemonade. That was a lot. And
it was a lot.
People got a hold of your pizza, and then they wanted to order all the pies we had on the menu.
Right.
All of them. I mean, the least they would take would be 5 out of the 8. So that was time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And so we stepped it up a notch after the wood fired.
Well, we got the truck with a bigger. We got the Forno Bravo oven. Could hold 6 pies at a time. Still tough. I mean,
tough.
the lines of 50 people, and they're sitting there, and you're watching it, and it's like it's not going down, and you just made a bunch of pies. It's tough labor because it's made on demand. Pizzas, can be quick, but on the other hand, too, when you start making lots of them, you can get slowed down. So we've had our lumps.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
So we refined our line at, a pizza, and we kind of made it so now you could get slices, which people love, because not everybody wants to buy a pie for, I don't know what they were, like $17. They want to have slices. So we worked our way into that.
Yeah.
And that's working a lot better for us.
Yeah.
And we still make pies.
But they're bigger.
They're bigger pies.
Yeah.
And that works out better, but everybody evolves over time. You're going to find your sweet spot, and you're going to hit it. You're going to find something that works and doesn't work.
Yeah. And some people that we get to speak to, they don't know the tricks. Like, we've met a couple of people this year that it was their first rodeo. This year was their first time out with their food truck. And they were not selling their product the way they were supposed to. In other words, when you get to a farmer's market, you bring those prices down. And that's the good thing with a food truck. You have to play around with your pricing.
Yeah.
You can't serve a local community the prices that you would serve a festival or a fair.
Right.
So we were bumping into a couple of people that were not putting their pricings they weren't adjusting the pricing according to where they were, so they were losing money. And so one thing that you have to understand is, if you're going to a fair, you're going to pay a ton of money to get there anyway, and you have to adjust the price. I was shocked this summer when we were actually paying. Before our food truck, we didn't pay attention to the prices on pizza. We just went out and we bought and we hung out and we did whatever we wanted to do. But because now we're in that business, we were scouting out the joint, and we were like, oh my gosh, pizza slices of pizza were how much again? $7? $7. $7 for a slice of pizza. And so I realized, yes, we play around with our prices, but I never went.
No, it takes a special kind of nerve to sell pizza for $7.
$7.
I don't have it.
Right.
What we do is we use the best of the best, and there's a price tag that goes along with the product. You're not going to get second rate anything from us, and we don't serve it, and we don't choose to. And I hope you truckers are out there doing the same thing. I hope that your product is outstanding, and
Yeah.
it should be, because people wait in line for it. People are paying a little bit more money for it. But to your point, if you're going to a fair and they're charging you $600 to go there for 2 days, and some places want like 10 or 20% of your money, where you going with this thing? At some point, it's like if they don't promote it correctly, or if it rains one of the days, you know we haven't we and here, here's another point too. Make sure you know what it costs you to bring your truck out. It costs us
Yes.
$300 to get our truck somewhere.
Hmm.
um and we have to know that,
And
because,
that's a little bit low considering the gas, the propane.
well, just because you're the help and we don't pay you. But if we have help, it's going to cost you a little more, but you have to know what it is. But before you say, oh gee, I'll go there, because a lot of times some of these events don't get promoted properly, or there's way too many food trucks. And it's like, you know, if you have 10,000 people and 10,000 food trucks, everybody's going to make $1. But I mean, the point is,
And
some,
we've seen,
right. We've seen it all.
yes.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the days, where we started as soon as we opened the window,
Hmm.
and it never stopped until we closed the window, like 2 in the afternoon to 9 at night straight,
Yeah.
just getting pounded, which is great. That's what you live for. You live for those days,
Mm-hmm.
because this year the rain, New Jersey, as you can tell where we're from, was horrendous. It rained every weekend. It rained on every event. It's like you could almost count. If I could, I wish there was something I could have played to bet on the rain. I would have took the rain and the over and the under every time.
Yes, that's very true.
And I don't even gamble, but this would have been great.
I mean, even last weekend, we were gonna go out on Sunday,
Mhm.
and I was like, no, it's gonna rain.
Right.
So I think that Sunday's gonna rain again.
It is going to rain
It's gonna
again.
rain
We're going to
again.
be in a better spot
Yeah.
where we're going. And the other thing is, find your venues. Find the ones that make you money. If it's a farmer's market, a local town event, and they work,
Yeah.
and just make
Well,
it
we're
out.
going to be very informative in this podcast. We will let them know where to go, like what's open, what's available, what's coming up, the emails that we got. Like, we'll be more than happy to share all of that information, because I mean, we can't be everywhere.
No.
And there are times where, the people, they love us so much, and they're like, hey, can you find me somebody, one of your friends who can come to our event, to the farms, anywhere. There's so
Right.
many places to go.
There's lots of places. And as a matter of fact, one of the farms that we go to actually wanted us. Now, they have food truck after food truck, but they wanted us to come for their baby's birthday,
Yes,
which I thought was really nice.
that was very sweet.
I thought about it, man. Of all the people that come there, they chose us, and they're sweet people. And that, to me, that was great.
That was very
It
sweet.
made me feel good. And I think that's some of what you get out of having a food truck too. There's a terrific feeling of accomplishment, because you are paving the road in which you walk on,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
It's your thing.
Yeah.
It's up to you whether you win or lose. It's not up to anybody else. It's really out there
Sometimes,
for you.
sometimes the losing part comes from these promoters.
Sometimes I will, I don't like to listen. I don't want to be the one to tell you what promoter to go to or not go to, because I might have just
no,
had
but they're so nice. It's not.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's all their fault, but your loss can come from them, because they want
Right.
$700, and by the time you do $700, you've been there for 3 days because you didn't make any money because it was raining and it was nobody there, or it was another
Well,
New Jersey
one of
hurricane.
the two of the very, very big events in New Jersey, one that you're guaranteed to make all this money at, was a flop.
Mm.
Different people took it over. They're charging you coming in and coming out. They're banging everybody over the head so badly that people, and they had a lot of bad weather too.
Yeah.
That people just like, listen, I'm not going to come out and I don't mind paying, but I don't, I want to take my children out and be able to, like, pay my mortgage this month. You know what I mean? And
Well, the thing is that if you're charging, I guess we're going to get into that. If they're charging, not us, if they're charging for the entrance fee
mhm.
and let's say ticket fee for whatever ride or
That's
something,
what I'm saying. They're charging you to go in there.
they charge, okay, so they charge entrance, they charge ticket, they charge food
Right.
trucks,
Right.
and then the people have to buy their own food. Like they already got it.
Nobody wants to go out and spend $500 going to a carnival.
Right.
I don't care how good it is.
Yeah.
With like 4 kids. It's like
That's a ton of money.
crazy.
Mhm.
you know, and I think that this year showed a lot of that.
Mhm.
We saw a lot of, and luckily we ducked some of it, and we got into some good stuff, and we got into some bad stuff
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
It really is, something you're going to have to kind of work your way through. Find out who runs good events. We just did a winter stroll.
Yes. Oh, that was so.
Now it rained one of the days.
Yeah.
Again, the first day we were there, did terrific. Why? They only had 4 food trucks.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't charge anybody to come in.
They didn't charge you to come in. They promoted it like unbelievable.
Yes, they did wonderful.
They really, really did. Hats off to that whole group. And everybody did well.
Mhm.
And it was great.
Everybody had a line. Like,
Right.
I mean, and I'm not talking about 10, 15 people. I'm
Right.
talking about over 50 people standing in one line from the front of our window all the way to the back.
Yeah.
Like back.
Mhm.
And everybody's truck was loaded with people. And that made me personally feel good because I knew like this was really nice.
Yeah.
They did a really nice thing and they considered the food truckers, and the lady that was promoting it, she was really nice and she cared about the food truck vendors.
Yeah, she had said it. We're only going to have 4 food trucks because I want to make sure everybody makes money. Some promoters, they'll have 10 trucks. And then, even the towns, the towns start wanting to charge, for admission. Then they want 8 different kinds of food trucks. And you know what happens? You don't get them back next
Yeah.
year because they're going to come here with 8 trucks and
Mhm.
200 people. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So you'll work your way around. You'll learn. And by all means, you could tell us how you learned because we'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
And we can also maybe teach you a few things.
Absolutely.
We went down a rough road. It wasn't it wasn't all peaches and cream, I can tell you that.
Not at all.
A lot of times it's just making decisions, tough ones. And honestly, if you haven't made tough decisions, you haven't been doing this long enough because you will make some tough decisions, that's for sure.
Yes. So I want to ask you, do you want to get into a couple other bullet points here? I have concerns about the health department certification, food safety trainings, all of that stuff that's needed to not just own but operate your food truck.
Mm-hmm. Well, generally speaking, every health department wants you to have a commissary. So a commissary is very important.
Which could be your own restaurant or.
Oh, if you have a brick and mortar, yes.
Yes.
If you don't have a brick and mortar, you better have some friends that do. Or some people use churches. Some people use firehouses, VFW halls I've heard of. Or you might just have a friend that's in the business that will let you use their place. And depending on what kind of arrangement you make with them, don't get yourself into like, $500 a month or something like that. Try to find somebody that's reasonable and you can work with. And, it's a little bit extra money for them. It's a place for you to store your stuff.
So commissary.
Commissary is very important.
That's a must.
You're going to have a commissary agreement. They're going to look for that. They want to know that you're storing your stuff in a place that a health inspector could come in and say, okay, this is all right. Then you're going to need your food safety trainings, your serve safes, your food manager's license, or your food handler's license. Every town's a little different,
And you can get that online.
and you can get them online. There's places to go for that. Then you have your liability insurance, which you can find an insurance company that will write the $1 million liability policy.
He got a guy.
I got a guy. If you're in Jersey, there's nobody better than him. And it was somebody else had a guy, and this guy turned out to just be terrific.
Yeah, he's amazing. I love him.
And and he's been great.
Oh, what is that thing? The COI. That's what you will need to get in contact with the liability insurance person.
Yeah.
They do the COI. What is a COI?
Certificate of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you will designate where it's made out to if somebody needs to be insured.
Now, and they will put that in the application.
Right. They got a $1 million threshold. We got a $2 million policy. Don't ask me why, but we have it, so it's good. I don't imagine what we could do, but our guy got us like $2 million worth of coverage for the price of $1 million worth of coverage. So I said, why not? we're gonna blow some up. Let's do it big. So
that was my next question. How much are we paying for this?
I don't know. It's in there somewhere.
Okay.
I don't even.
Honestly, look at that
honestly, later. Yeah. Like you really got to keep track of all the stuff. Is we insure 2 trucks, 2 trailers, and a pickup truck that we use for the trailers.
That's yeah.
It gets a little.
2 million sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do some damage, but it's good to make sure you know what your costs are. Through the year, because sometimes you can lose track of that and not realize what it's costing you to do business.
Yes.
And you really have to know. This way, you can adjust your prices accordingly. And, when you're out there. We have
a little cheat sheet thing that we do, right? We put it in a spreadsheet.
Right.
And we add and subtract.
Right. We have our little method, and, I'm sure you'll get yours. Everybody kind of has their strengths in this business, My wife is the bean counter of the corporation. So, I do all the rough work, make the pizza. I got to beg, I need this for the truck. I need that for the truck. She's telling me, no, you don't. I'm like, what do you mean? No, of course I do. But, we do it in stride.
No, the funniest part is when you need cheese. I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
It's like, what does it take to make pizza?
Yeah, she'll fight me over how much I go spend. Honestly, I've always needed somebody like that with me, because I could go spend it all. I don't think about anything other than getting the product out. And she's like, let me put the brakes on you a little bit, buddy. Yeah. So we've always got to come to an agreement, and I have to use all my salesman skills to get the things in the truck I want.
Yes.
But we always do enjoy them afterwards, like the second oven, things like that.
The second oven, I wasn't really happy about until it got cold.
Until it got cold out. So now it's a heater.
I was like, are you turning that on? Don't turn it off.
Yeah.
Don't you dare. That's my heating source.
But when, we get super busy, it's a good thing to have, that second oven, because you can really get the pizzas out quick.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
We have to be quick because we work at unlimited time.
Yeah.
I don't know how we
That's
got
awesome.
it. Yeah. So now what else did you want to talk about, young lady?
So we got the food training, the permits. Did you speak about the permits, the town?
The town permits?
Yeah, that's an expense that
every town you go into, you have to fill out a health permit.
Every
now,
single town.
Some will let you fill it out for the year. So if you're doing a few events, you could pay $50 once, and you could do up to 7 events, I think it is.
Well, not every town is like that. I was just going to say some towns have like 3 events. So if for the year,
right?
If you're going to do more than 3 events, buy
By the yearly.
the yearly.
Get the yearly. Yeah.
Yes.
And they come and inspect you once. So make sure that you have your thermometers, your temperatures, your test strips. Make sure you have some germicidal bleach on
What is a test strip?
So basically, the test strip will test. You're going to add, some chlorine to your water or bleach, and you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. So you put your test strip in there, and it kind of tells you
For
what
your
level
sink.
you're at. Yeah, and then they're always at you for the temperatures, and you'll learn that in Serve Safe. You can't heat things up in a steam table.
No.
You have to use an oven or a range. You have to get it up to a certain temperature, and you have to serve it at a certain temperature. Those are all the things you learn in your courses, and just make sure that you got a nice clean vessel, everything's sanitized. You have bottles of sanitizer up on the counter, and everything's nice and clean. All your utensils are clean, and when they come in, it should be okay. If you got refrigerators, make sure they got thermometers in them. And you have to have a hand wash station. It's a big thing. Make sure you load it with paper towels, signs, and soap. If you have a 3-base sink and you're doing ware washing, make sure you have rinse, sanitize stickers on everything, and you have your 3-base sink all set up. Make sure it's clean, not full of things. They just like to see, the cleaner and neater the appearance is, the much easier your inspection is going to go.
Yeah.
Um,
That's awesome.
So I think, is there anything else you would like to cover today?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot more to talk about when it comes up to the disadvantages, pros and cons kind of thing. But I would love for some questions to come in. That way we can answer
Yeah, that would be great.
personal questions about their trucks and their businesses. So that would be amazing to start getting those in.
That would be great. And, send us topics you'd like us to talk about. And
Absolutely.
I think we have the ability to have people call in at some point.
Yeah, they can call in. We can, we're going to do some web interviews with our friends.
Right.
They'll be here.
We'll have some of the best food truckers around. We'll have all kinds of specialty people, food purveyors. We're going to have social media experts come on here and tell you how to get your social media going on your truck. People that wrap trucks.
Yes. That's so important.
And you can get banged for that too. But I will tell you this: the guy that charged us the most did the best job.
Yes, he did.
He did it.
Yes, he did, and I can't wait to
phenomenal
talk
job.
to him about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we tried to go cheaper the next time, and we got what we got.
Pretty,
still
but it's
pretty, but
not
it's not his work.
what he
His
did.
work is like super special.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So, hopefully we can help with that. And, people, I got on a site where we got the generator. They've actually have a Facebook page for the Inverter 9500
Wow.
where people share
That's awesome.
their experiences with generators and things like that, because those are things you're going to have to know about too.
Yeah.
So, I guess we look forward to hearing from everybody.
Yes, make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button and share this video with as many food truckers and maybe people that are aspiring to have a food truck. It's a really good business to get without having the overhead. Share our videos with them, and we would love to see you guys send in some comments.
Yeah, keep it coming.
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for joining us.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Good job, babe.
Thank you. I think we did good.